Well, I'm very pleased to say I'm joined now by trainer Ted Soppitt, who has 4 greyhounds going for this year's Star Sports Derby. So exciting times ahead. We're going to find out a bit more about each of them. But first of all, Ted, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about your history in the Derby and what you think of the competition. And obviously the fact it's going to be quite different this year, given the circumstances that we're all living. But presumably would still mean a great deal to the likes of you and all the other trainers to win.
Well, being at Nottingham makes things a lot easier for me. I think Wimbledon, the travel beat the dogs from the north. I mean, it was very hard, especially when you had to run 3 times in a week. And it did take it out the dogs travelling. But Nottingham's a lot easier, a lot fairer for people in the north.
You've had a couple of semi-finalists before. That's as far as you've gone in the competition. Maybe this year would be the year that you can get to the final. You've certainly got at least 1 or 2 dogs that are capable. How much would it mean to you?
Well, generally, I never get too carried away. It's just another race. In this game, you just don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So all we can do is just try and get them there. And what happens, happens.
That's true.
Fate will sort itself out.
It's not long to go now, and you have a dog that I really like, and I know a lot of people are big fans of, Waikiki Lad, who's currently 40-1 anti-post with Star Sports. I was really taken with this dog when I saw you parading him at RPGTV Juvenile Night. He was so keen and looked like such a strong dog. Would that be fair?
Yeah, he is. He's a little bit excitable once you get him on the leader to race, but apart from that, he's very laid back. He's a bit of a fragile dog. He's frailties, but if you can hold him together for long enough, the week in between every round will make things a lot easier. I don't think he could run 3 times in a week. I don't think dogs should run 3 times in a week, full stop.
How good do you think he is?
Well, I think he's got a lively chance of making the final. If things go well, win, it's a different matter to what happens. Nottingham's definitely his track. I've said it from the onset. Monmore doesn't play to his strengths, and neither did Newcastle. They're basically front runners tracks, you know, where Nottingham, you take a different sort of dog on, and he's pretty consistent. If you can keep everything right with him, he's pretty consistent, and hopefully I think he's good enough to get there to the final. Whether he's good enough to win, it's another matter.
You said that he's a bit fragile. What will be your plans for him between now and then? I know that you're sort of thinking maybe one-off races at Nottingham, perhaps?
No, I think after Monmore, we'll have to give him a bit of a break and then bring him back maybe 2 or 3 weeks before the Derby. And but I think he needs a little break. He's that sort of dog. You've got to be very easy on him.
Where would you want to see him box at Nottingham? Do you want him right on the rails or just off?
I don't think it matters. 1, 2. I think he's 1 out of 5 round there. So yeah. Preferably, I think 3 is his favourite box. But look, you get what you get.
It's certainly a plus that he's versatile as far as the draws are concerned, because we know that there's going to be more railers than wides. So at 40-1, you think this could be a good anti-post bet for the Derby?
Well, Julie, I think he's probably the best chance I've had. I think he's better than the dogs I've had in the Derby. Some of my good dogs didn't make it, like Drucky's race went for the Irish Derby, and Shearer went lame, and 1 or 2 others didn't make it through injuries. But if he makes it, I think he's a live Derby chance, you know, of definitely getting to the later rounds.
That's definitely the impression I get from him, and I know there's a lot of fans out there. So you've had Frisbee Forte and Jude his Obafemi in the semi-finals. You think he's better than them?
Without doubt. Better.
So you do, right? Yeah, right. I'm glad, because I really like Waikiki Lad. A 40-1 chance for this year's Star Sports Derby.
Well, I thought 40-1 I didn't make him a 40-1 chance personally. I mean, I thought he's definitely a dog in the top 12. And look at the bookmakers make the prices, and that's the way they go. But I definitely think he's a little bit underestimated, I think, because I don't think they've seen enough of him at a big track. He really wants big tracks. He didn't when he first started off. He wasn't really staying, but now he seems to be staying really strong, and he's got a nice bit of early. He's probably the ideal dog to make it, you know.
And a nice sort of age, November 18, November 17 he is. Is that a good sort of age? He'll be
Yeah,
all
well, I would say 2.5, probably at the peak, 2.5 to 3-year-old. No, I wouldn't. I would say he's probably the best I've had. I've had quite a few in the Derby, but probably Cash and Maureen just wasn't right when the Derby was on. I thought she was a right type for the Derby, but she hit form after the Derby, and she was a Derby type dog, really good early pace, and had no problem getting the trip. That's what you need. You need that. It's very, very hard to come off the back in derbies. If you turn around second or third and you're a strong runner, well, you're going to be in the frame. But I think it's pretty hard to come off the back in any good race.
Well, do you think Waikiki Lad would live with the top class dogs in terms of early to the first bend at Nottingham?
Well, I mean, yeah, I think he's all right when he's really on top form and the track he likes. I think that's when he excels. But look, he's not a sprinter by any stretch of the imagination. But he has broke. He wouldn't be ice on fire type of dog. I mean, there's not many is.
No.
But he's just a good, genuine, top class dog. Group 1 dog he is. I mean, he would make most of finals on tracks what's suitable to him. But hopefully there's plenty of competitions on after the Derby for him to go in, you know. That's one of my concerns now.
We love Waikiki Lad. I'm glad I've spoken to you about him. But you have got a few other kind of backup plans, if you like, including a youngster, October 18 dog in Blackstone Milo, who's just had the 3 races, and far from ideal that he got knocked over in the first one of those races. But he came back well, and he made the RPGTV Puppy Cup final, where he eventually finished last. So I'm guessing you don't know too much about him with just 3 races under his belt. But what can you tell us?
He is probably the fastest dog I've had for a long time, and I think he'll prove it in time. He's very inexperienced. He's making mistakes. I think getting knocked over didn't do his confidence any good at all. When he had dogs in front of him, he seemed to lack that confidence. But I think he's definitely fast enough to make a big final and win a big final, because when he does things right, he's got tremendous early pace. So I would see him, whether he goes for the Derby. I mean, he could go to Romford for the Puppy Cup. Puppy Derby, I don't know. We'll see in the next couple of weeks. He's had niggles, he's had problems, and if we can get shot of all these little niggles, I think he'd be a big player wherever he went.
He's definitely a talent. One to keep an eye on then in the coming weeks, and await your decision if he actually goes for the Star Sports Derby. You've got another dog going for you in the shape of Wines Having Curly, another dog that was an RPGTV finalist. Sorry, an RPGTV but invitation dog. He's beaten some of the best around, the likes of Sparta Master in the heats of the Sussex Cup. Is he just sort of lacking that top class, do you think?
Yeah, it's no good kidding yourself, you know. I mean, they're not all top class dogs, but he's a good, genuine open race dog. Whether he's a competition dog's another matter, but if he draws trap 6, he could go to maybe to the quarterfinals or something like that. But having a proper Derby dog, I would say Waikiki Lad's my dog, you know, and whether the other one runs, I think he's equally as fast, if not faster than Waikiki Lad, Blackstone Milo. But might come too soon.
So the resounding message we're getting from this interview, Ted, is Waikiki Lad is the best dog you've ever taken to the Derby. And I'm guessing, now you take things in your stride, but it must be exciting to take a dog like that into the Derby.
Yeah, I don't like to get in front of myself, but I think he is the ideal Derby dog. And he's running on these tracks where are not suiting him. Newcastle and Monmore, the sharp, early pace type of dogs, that's what he's coming up against. And they're not really suiting him. He made the final of the All England Cup, and he ran well in the final. He just bumped into one on the night, and but I'm pretty confident if the race had been at Nottingham, he would have won it.
Interesting. So it's a track that's going to suit him. The age suits him. He's got the early pace, everything about the dog. And I love his attitude. So lots to look forward to. Listen, thank you so much for your time. And I wish you all the best with your team and particularly Waikiki Lad. We'll look forward to seeing you and him at Nottingham.
You're welcome. Cheers.